This is a very exciting meeting. We have some visitors and an honored guest today. The Paul Robeson Citation Award. In 1971, the Council of Actors Equity Association established what is now known as the Paul Robeson Committee. The committee resolved to present annual citations to the individual or organization that during the preceding year or years best exemplified and practiced the principles and ideals of this great humanitarian and activist, Paul Robeson. I'd like to introduce the chair of the Paul Robeson Citation Award Committee, Allison Tucker.
I had the humbling experience of notifying this year's benefactor that they had been selected to receive this award. And so I thought it was only right to give that honor and joy to the person who nominated them. Congratulations, I have to say that personally. My pleasure. It is with great pleasure that I turn to Christine Toy Johnson, the nominator, to introduce to you the members of Actors Equity Association, and to present the award to the recipient of this year's 2017 Paul Robeson Citation Award.
The story of Jamal Joseph's life so far is the stuff that great, fantastic, inspiring movies are made of. A young man joins the Black Panther Party at the age of 15 in response to the assassination of Martin Luther King. He learns how to fight, but not in the ways he expected. He learns how to fight for housing, education, jobs, and fair trials. He goes to prison, transforms the culture there by putting on plays. He becomes a professor of screenwriting at Columbia University. He co-founds and helps run a theater company that teaches young people to be social activists for change through the arts. They write a song together for a movie and get nominated for an Oscar. And that is just the tip of the iceberg. He's already written a memoir for us called Panther Baby, A Life of Rebellion and Reinvention. I want to see the movie of that for sure. Go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated. Jamal would tell us this often. And the beautiful thoughts behind these words, that we had the right to be in the room, that to become the best storytellers we could possibly be, that our stories were worthy of being told, and that we could do this better if we sought and dwelled in places of possibility, where we were valued for our individual voices and lifted up by our now expanded potentials. These words have continued to crack my heart open in all the best possible ways as we continue to try to find new ways to rise above systemic biases, not just in show business, but in this ever increasingly divided society that we live in. Go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated, and do it with joy and love and light, and you will find that you can make social change like Jamal Joseph has done and does every day, because he also teaches us a positive thought cannot be denied. So it is with great joy and love and light that we celebrate you today, Jamal. Thank you for all that you are and all that you do. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. When I was in Leavenworth Prison, when I arrived, I was sitting in the big yard, and prisons, as you can imagine, are segregated because the men segregate themselves. And there are different parts of the prison known as courtyards, or courts for short. And there's the black section, the Latino section, the organized crime section, and there's some areas where you can pass through, to go to the handball court, weights, but no one goes in anybody else's court without the fear of injury or possibly death. So I'm sitting in the one tree in the big yard and I'm reading, and an older prisoner comes up, and a group of prisoners kind of come around and they go, hey man, you was in the Panthers out there, weren't you? And I said, yes, I was. And that was, kind of public knowledge, and, the news preceded me on the big yard. And then the old time, and then somebody else said, you used to do karate and stuff when you were out there. Well, that was a little, more private. This is pre-Google days. And I said, yes, that's true. And then the old timer said, you used to do them plays and stuff on the outside, didn't you? I was like, yeah, and I come up in the Black Arts movement and done some poetry and some theater, and he went, and just walked away. And I thought I was in some kind of trouble. And then the next day he comes back and he says, I want you to do something for Black History Month. I done checked it out with the warden, since you do plays. So I went to the library, and there was only one Black play. To tell the truth, in the prison library section, there were only 2 plays, Romeo and Juliet and A Raisin in the Sun. So I came back to Mr. Cody and I said, I don't, and he was one of the guys that ran a court. He was an old gangster from New Orleans. I said, Mr. Cody, I don't think I can do the play. There's only one Black play and it has women in it. In fact, it is about a woman, a matriarch trying to take care of her family. And without a beat, like a true producer, he looked around and he said, it's okay, young blood. Just look out on the yard, pick out 3 or 4 guys, we'll put a dress on them. I said, no, I don't think that's the answer. And so I went and wrote something. And this was my first play. And as I came to rehearsal, there were 2 guys who were there. Mr. Cody picked my cast, 2 big guys in the joint, football players, ex-football player kind of bodies, but with knife wounds and stab wounds, looked like death had struck them with the stick. That was their name, Death and Struck. And so I started teaching, but I had to teach them acting. So we did an improv, and then I'm deconstructing the improv, right? And so I go, Death, Struck, that was great. Wow, Death, you looked at him. You said you were going to stab him 18 times. Struck, you said you were going to get a dumbbell and bash his brains in. And I was in the moment with you. The 2 of you going back and forth, that's called dialogue. And me, I'm kind of rambling, that's called a monologue. Repeat after me, dialogue, monologue. And they looked at each other and it was like, I wasn't dialoguing, I'm gonna kill this fool. Wait, okay, stop. Stop 1 second, okay. Let's do that first century exercise. Work with me, breathe, you're a tree. Come on, work with me. You're a tree. At that very moment, the leaders of the Mexican mafia, La M.A., enter the space. They never leave their court unless it's to kill someone. And Tito and Raphael are 2 guys who were lifers who had picked up 3 life sentences since they were in prison. That would be their attitude. They'd stab somebody and they would go like, okay, put the cuffs on. You want my license too? And they're sitting down watching, and now all of us have the same idea. La M.A., the leaders, Tito and Raphael, have left their court to come here. Who are they here to kill? And after about, I'm looking out the side of my eye, and Tito, who's the leader, is getting madder and madder. And everybody's trying to work now because we're trying to be cool, right? My guys are like, look, Jamal, I tree, I palm tree, I swear. And after 10 minutes, Tito comes up to me and he taps me on the shoulder and he goes, yo, Essay, let me talk to you. I went, damn, it's me. I'm going to get killed from doing a play in Leavenworth. And he pulls me to the side. He says, Essay, there's no secrets here in the big top. And I had to come check out what you were doing for myself. And I want you to listen to me good. That guy you working with, Essay, that guy, that effing guy, Essay, he's not feeling his character. So I said, why don't you come in? And he did. So we rewrote the play. Now, the white brothers, they, saw us kind of sneaky off, and they were like, what are the blacks and the Latinos doing? Their toughest guy, their leader, was a guy named Rebel. Reb was 6'3", muscle bound, a black belt. Reb comes up to rehearsal, and then he comes back, and all his guys surround him. And it was like, Reb, you was up there with the blacks and the Mexicans? And he said, yep. And they said, well, what were they doing, Reb? And he said, a play. They said, what'd you do about it, Reb? He said, they give me a part. And in that big yard, we created a safe space through the arts, realizing what the creative arts could do in terms of giving you liberation no matter where you were, and remembering then that the movement has always had a poem. It's always had a song. It's always had a message. It's had a poem from the time that we heard Harriet Tubman and the slaves say, swing low, sweet chariot. Or when Sojourner Truth would say, "Ain't I a woman?" It's had a message and a song from the time that Harry Belafonte and Tony Bennett stood on coffins to symbolize the death that was happening in the civil rights movement and got other artists to come embrace. It's had a poem from when Langston Hughes wrote, "I too am America." It continues to have that voice and that grace when Maya Angelou, who marched as much as she wrote and acted and sang, always reminded us, as she did when she read the poem at the Million Man March, that the ancestors remind us, despite history of pain, we are a going on people who will rise again. So it is in that spirit that I say that the work continues. And this award reminds me, and being in such amazing company as Paul Robeson and Maya and Ozzie Davis and Ruby Dee and all of the great recipients before, that the work still continues and that we are dream keepers. There was a little girl who grew up in the South, a black girl, and she grew up in a town where everybody worked as farmers and agriculture, and that's what they did. And the teacher said, write an essay about what you want to be. And she came back, and people were reading the essays, and one kid wrote about, I'm going to be a tractor mechanic because that's what my dad does, and another kid wrote that he's going to be a farmer, and this little black girl wrote that she wanted to move to the big city and be a lawyer. And the teacher said, I'm going to give you, she got a C- on the essay. And she was a good student. She said, teacher, why did I get a C- on the essay? She said, well, you know what? It's an A for content. You're our smartest student, but I need your dreams to be realistic. So I'll give you the weekend to come back, and if you rewrite the essay, I'll give you that A. And this little girl thought about it and worked on the essay and thought about it and worked on the essay and thought about it, and she came back on Monday, and the teacher looked at her and she said, did you work on the essay? She said, I did, teacher. And she said, what are you going to do? And she had the paper and she held it back and she said, teacher, you can keep your A. I'm going to keep my dream. Let's keep our dreams, brothers and sisters. And let's empower all of those to rise and to fight, because we have the power through the arts to inspire dreams, to keep dreams, and to go out and with our very lives and our actions to make a difference. Thank you so much. Let's keep our dreams.
Yeah. I will be a dream keeper. I will hold you in my heart and hold you tight, hold you tight. Bring me all your dreams, you dreamers. Bring me all your heart melodies, that I may wrap them in a blue cloud cloth, away from the too rough fingers of the world. I'm your dream keeper, your dream keeper, your dream keeper. All you dreamers are